All right, today I am going to show you how to use a induction stove top. I'm going to be going over the type of pots and pans you should use, basic instructions on how to turn an induction stove top on, how to turn it off. I'm going to go over the lock features, some other features that the induction stove may or may not have. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. But before we get started, this is just a general guide and it does not replace your requirement and to read and abide by your specific induction stovetop owner's manual. Okay, and this is just a simple guide. All right, so the first thing you want to do is with an induction stovetop is that you have to have the appropriate pots and pans. Okay, so not all pots and pans are made for an induction stovetop, and I'll tell you why. It's because the way induction stovetop works is that it doesn't heat up this surface right here. It actually emits a magnetic force which reacts with the pan, and the pan actually heats up, and that's where the heat is coming from this magnetic force. When you turn it on, heats up the pan. It heats the metal in the pan, the particles, gets them moving, and therefore heats up the pan where you can fry or boil or whatever. So you have to have appropriate induction safe pans to use it, because not all pots and pans will work. If you have ceramic and it doesn't have the right elements within it, it will not work. Some metal pans that aren't conducive for induction stovetops will not work. So I have the appropriate right here. I believe this is made by Calphalon right here. This is approved for induction stovetops. All right, so I have this right here. Now, getting started, when you have an induction stovetop, you want to make sure that you have the pan and it almost aligns up with the circumference of the area that you're going to be placing it on. And it shows you right here, I don't know if you can see the circle, but it uses these lines to show you, okay, this is how wide that you have to have it. So I have it at least to where it covers the entire area of that. You have, on this particular stove, you have 4 different areas. You have a place for a small pot, even smaller pot or pan, large, extremely large pot right here in the center. You see how big that one is right there? And then you have a medium size right here. So you get your pot and you want to make sure that it fits the right amount. You know, it can overlap it a little bit, but make sure that you place it on the right type of width when it comes to placing the stove or the pot or pan on the stove. So I'm going to place them in the various areas right here. And then I'm going to go over to the controls right here. And so the controls on an induction stovetop are pretty simple. They may be different depending on the model of induction stovetop you have. But on this particular model right here, it's the first thing you want to do is find the on and off button. And that's what I do. I find the on and off button. And so that's that one right there. Okay. And then on this induction stovetop, it has 4 different eyes or 4 different places to where you can place a pot. You select the one that you want to actually use. For this pot right here, boiling water right here, I can go over here and I can tap that. And so when I tap that, it shows a line underneath and shows right here that I'm going to be operating for this one. If I want to do the pan, I can go right here and do that for the pan, but I'm doing this one. And so once I select the part that I want to use, I'll select this, and then I will look down here, and on here it gives a scale from 1 to 9, and that is the different ranges for heat. Okay, 0 being off, no power, going to that specific place. 1 is the lowest, and as you can see, I didn't press anything for a while, so it turned off. So I'm going to turn it back on. And I can go all the way up to 9. And then for this one right here, it shows where I can go from 1, 2, 3, 4. You can keep on. But on this specific stove, I can go in between. So say, for instance, I have 4 right here. I can actually go to 3 plus. All right, you see that? You see it's 3 and there's a dot. And so that's 3 in between 4. So like 3.5. So you see that dot? That's indicated for that. If I just want regular 3, it goes just to 3. Or if I want 4, it just goes to 4. But this dot right here represents half, okay? So it's heating up at 3, which is kind of one of the lower heating modules right here. But I can bring it all the way up to 8, 9 if I want to right here, okay? All right, so I'm going to put it at 8. And for this particular induction stovetop, they have a feature called speed boost. All right, and so that speed boost, it's going to give full power, maximum power to bring this perhaps to boiling at its fastest rate. And I can go and turn it off by simply pressing that again, and it goes to 9, the second highest level for turning for this particular stove, because speed boost is beyond 9, but it brings it back down to 9. So you have that, and when I'm ready to go to another pot or pan, I just simply press one of these and it goes to the different pot or pan, and I'm able to make adjustments for that. Or if I just want to turn this down all the way without turning the entire system off, I'll just put that back at 0. So I have this right here, the boiling water, or the water that I'm trying to boil, at 4. Okay, so we'll see if it can get to boiling at 4 or not without the speed boost. All right, so that's those features right there. And on this particular one, they also have a timer and an auto chef option. Now, for this particular induction stovetop, the auto chef actually helps prevent the food from overheating. So it has auto chef right here. That's a feature that you'll have to read your owner's manual if your particular induction stovetop has. Okay, so that's the auto feature. Another thing is the timer. Okay, so you have a timer on here. And I'm also going to talk about the panel lock pretty soon. So you have a timer. Now to press the timer, you can actually adjust the time. Okay, so you can adjust the timer for this particular one. So you have that. And I'll just enter in the digits right here. I put it at 8 minutes. I can have it at 88 minutes if I want to. Or I can have it at 99 minutes if I want to. That's the most that this one goes up to, I believe. And then I can just put it back down to 0, which means the timer's not on anymore. But to get this off of the screen, I'll actually have to turn this off or give it a few minutes or seconds. This will go away right here where it says, see, it just went away. So that is the timer. Talked about the auto chef. And then we have the panel lock. And so this is a feature right here. Say, for instance, you're cooking and you don't want to accidentally press another button for the to change the temperature or turn it off or anything like that. You can come up here and there's a panel lock button. And I'm going to go ahead and press that. And with the panel lock, I can press all of these buttons and nothing will work. Let's see if I press off, will it turn off the panel lock? Even pressing off will not turn off the panel lock. Okay, in order to turn off the panel lock, I have to come back over here to panel lock, and I have to go ahead and press it, and it turns the panel lock off, and I can adjust the temperature or anything else here that I want. Okay, so that is the panel lock feature. Now, when I'm ready to turn it off, I'm going to show you. When I'm ready to turn it off, I can just go like this. I can go to 0. And the power is all on, but this thing is off right here, so it's not heating anything, but the system is still on. And eventually it'll turn off once, I believe, after a few minutes, it shows that it's hot, but it will eventually turn this off if nothing is being heated eventually. All right, but I'm going to turn it back on. And I want to show you this feature right here as if you spill water on the induction stove, say for instance, I spill it right here, look what happens. It starts beeping. It indicates that there is water on here and you need to wipe it off. And it almost shuts down a little bit. I think that's a safety issue. But you clean it up, wipe up the water right there. All right. And then I'm just going to turn it back on, get it back to cranking again. All right, to boiling right here. And the off feature. If you just want to turn everything off all at once, you can just come up here and just turn it off. So that's how you turn it off. All right, and so like once it's done, make sure that the surface and everything is cool before you start moving around, because the pots will be hot and it will actually heat up the induction surface. Okay, so if you have it on, the pots actually get hot and heat up the induction surface, and you can actually hurt yourself pretty bad if you're not cautious. Usually there's indicators on your induction oven to show you that the surface is hot, but if it doesn't or you're not aware of it, you could be in danger. Now, this video does not replace any owner's manual. You know, this is just my opinion on how to operate an induction stovetop. So it's important that you read your owner's manual before you operate your particular induction stovetop and abide by what they have to say and not this video. All right, so you have all of this. Another thing is I clean up the stovetop, wipe it down, wipe it down like I wipe down the counters. But I often, when it's cool, I'll use Windex on here, let it soak, and I just wipe it down with the Windex, and it gives it a nice, clean look, okay? So I use Windex after I finish wiping it down, how I normally wipe down my counters, and then use Windex. But you'll want to read your owner's manual for your specific induction stovetop to make sure you have the instructions on how to clean your particular induction stovetop. And that's how you use an induction stovetop. I hope this video was helpful. Thanks a lot for watching.